Sepeda Rider Experience Director at Sacred Rides. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to pack your mountain bike for air travel. There are a few options for what you can pack your bike in. You can use a cardboard box from your local bike store, you can use an entire roll of duct tape and some bubble wrap, you can use a hard shell case, or you can use a bike bag. In this case, we're going to be packing this sweet Santa Cruz into this awesome bike bag from Pico Packworks. Before you begin, you'll want to be sure that you have some tape, some zip ties, a rag, some spare cardboard, and some foam or bubble wrap. To make the process a little bit more fun, you might also want to add some craft beer. If you head to your local bike store and tell them that you're packing your bike for airline travel, they'll likely have some of this stuff just hanging around from unboxed bikes. To take apart most bikes, all you'll need is a multi-tool or a set of Allen keys. Be sure to have the right Allen key that takes your pedals off. In some cases, that's an 8mm and will be separate, or a pedal wrench. Be sure to have a designated space for all of your tools and bike parts, such as this table that just magically appeared. The first step of this process is to take your rear wheel off. To do so, loosen your quick release or take your through axle out and pull it through the frame. Pull the derailleur back and towards you and gently pull your rear wheel out of the dropouts. The next step is to take your derailleur off. To do so, you'll loosen the Allen screw that attaches it to the frame. Wrap it in bubble wrap or plastic, paying attention to keep plastic between it and the frame, and then you'll tape it to the inside of your chainstay. Now you're going to take off your pedals. In doing so, remember that the two sides of your cranks are not threaded in the same direction. If you're using an Allen key and going to the back of the pedal like this, you're going to go clockwise on the drive side to take the pedal off, and counterclockwise on the non-drive side. It's crucial that you turn the Allen key in the right direction when you're taking the pedals off. If you don't, you could over-tighten and end up stripping your pedals. After you've got your pedals off, you'll want to put them in a compartment in your bag, like so, or if your bag doesn't have one of these, ziplock them into a baggie and tie them to your frame. It's time to put your rear wheel into the bike bag. In doing so, make sure that you put the cassette side facing outwards on the bag. This is to protect your brake rotor. And speaking of brake rotors, it's recommended that you either remove them if you're extra careful or place bubble wrap in and around them to keep them protected. Before we take the front wheel off, it's worth noting that you should put your through axles back into the dropouts of the frame. If you don't have this style of dropout and you have a quick release, make sure you get a piece of PVC from your local bike shop and slide it in the dropouts. Now we're essentially going to repeat the process with the front wheel. So you remove your through axle or quick release, pull it out gently, take your front wheel out, and put it, again, disc rotor side in, into your bike bag. Again, remember to put your through axle or quick release back into the fork. Now that we have both of our wheels in the bike bag, you should deflate your tires. You don't have to do it all the way, just enough that they'll still hold their shape and protect the rims from any damage. It's also important to make sure that your disc brake pads don't touch each other during flight. To make sure that they don't, some bikes come with spacers that you can put in between the brake pads, but because we don't have any of those, you can cut out some cardboard and just gently stick it in between the brake pads like so. Remember to do both front and back brakes. Before we put the bike itself into the bike bag, you're going to want to do two things. The first of those is to gather up any excess chain that you have and zip tie it to the frame. This will prevent it from scratching. More important than anything else we'll do in this video is to stay hydrated. Always stay hydrated. Next, you're going to want to take the foam or the bubble wrap that you have and protect as much of the frame as you can. You really can't go wrong here. And you're just going to put it around top tube, bottom tube, your fork ideally, and your chainstays if you can, and tape it up. Now we're going to put the bike in the bike bag. Now that we have the bike in the bag, it's time to take the seat post out and the handlebars off. Depending on your bike bag, you have two options for your handlebars. You'll either want to detach them from the stem itself, or you'll want to detach the entire stem and handlebars together from the steer tube. In this case, we're going to do the latter. To do so, you'll loosen and remove the steer tube and cap. And then loosen the two screws on either side of your stem. Now that you've got the handlebars off, you're going to want to return any spacers and the headset cap that you took off back onto the bike, and just gently screw the headset cap screw back in so that you don't lose it. You'll want to attach your handlebars and stem close to your frame. If you've got a Pika Packworks bag, they have handy little buckles that will do that for you. If not, take some zip ties and strap it to the top tube. The last step before we zip this bag up is to remove your seat post. To do so, you're just going to loosen the Allen screw that keeps your seat in the frame and pull it out. Remember to retighten your seat collar so that it doesn't come off. Pay attention to not over-tighten it, or you'll risk cracking or bending your frame. Now that you've got your seat post and seat inside the bag, it's a good idea to take a look at where you have extra room. So for example, in here you could put some riding gear, your helmet, goggles, or sunglasses before you zip the bag up. Now we're ready to zip this baby up. For more awesome content on mountain biking and adventure travel, check out our blog, The Daily Dirt, at sacredrides.com/blog.